This Penguin nugget is about setting up your Ansible control node. So on the control node, when using Ansible automation platform, you're essentially running Ansible within a container. So you need to be logged in to Podman. Podman is installed in all RAL versions 8.0 and higher. So I'm going to log into the registry.redhat.io repository using the command podman login registry.redhat.io. You'll have to provide your username and your password. These are the same login credentials for your Red Hat account. Once you received the message login succeeded, you can proceed with downloading the necessary repositories. I wanted to give you a look at the repositories that I currently have in my system. I've got the AppStream repository, Base OS repository, extra packages for Enterprise Linux or EPEL, and of course the Red Hat Ansible automation platform, and the one that I'm using is version 2.4. Okay. You don't really need extra packages for Enterprise Linux to be able to use Ansible. However, it really provides you with a good list of packages that you might find helpful in the future. If you don't have these installed, so if you wanted to install Red Hat Ansible automation platform, you can use Subscription Manager to do so. So before we do that, let's check if there is a more updated version of Red Hat Ansible automation platform. So I'm running the command sudo subscription manager repos and -- list, and I'm gripping for Ansible, and I can see there is version 2.3, 2.2, and until the time of this recording, version 2.4 is still the latest version. So if you don't have it and if you want to install it, you're going to come down and run the command sudo subscription manager repos -- enable, followed by the repository name. In this case, scenario is Ansible-automation-platform 2.4 and for RAL 9. And once you run this command successfully, wait for the message that says that the repo list is now enabled, as you see it here. Once this step is completed, you are going to need to install Ansible Navigator. Ansible Navigator is a utility that allows you to interface with Ansible. Before it was Ansible Core, and now it is Ansible Navigator. So to install that, you can use DNF or Dandified Yellow Packet Update Manager, and you can run the command sudo DNF install with the Y option, so you don't have to answer yes to any other questions, and you can install Ansible-Navigator. Once you do that, it will install several packages, and as you can see, the latest Ansible Navigator is 3.4.1. Ansible really uses Python. Python 3 is installed by default, and it doesn't hurt to check. So if you run the command Python -- version, you will see that the version that I currently have is 3.9.14. And if you want to see if there is another version, a later version of Python, we can run sudo Python or sudo yum info Python 3 and see if there is a later version than 9.14. And let's see what we have here. So as a matter of fact, there is. So as you can see, 9.14 shows as an installed, but there is a later version or an updated version, which is 3.9.16. If you want to fetch this one, then we can just come and say sudo yum y or yum install -y python 3, and that should update us to the latest version. So it's fetching it, and it's installing it right now. And now we have version 16. A quick check with Python 3 version will confirm that we have the latest update. Now, in the control node, you need to make sure that the IP address is assigned statically. So when I run the command IP address, I have statically assigned the address of 192.168.1.227 to my control node. The host name for my control node, running the command hostname ctl, it shows that let's go up here. The full name, the fully qualified domain name is control.example.local. So that is my fully qualified domain name for the control node. You need to make sure that you have your host's file has a name to host name mapping for the devices that you are going to be managing with Ansible. So since I have two servers, Ansible 1 and Ansible 2, that I will be managing from the control node, I have entries for them in my host's file. And their IP address is 251 for Ansible 1 and 252 for Ansible 2. And the fully qualified domain name is Ansible1.example.local, and so on. Remember that I'm doing all that with the Ansible account. So running the command who am I, it shows that I am using the Ansible account on the control node to run my Ansible commands. And as mentioned before, you also need to have the Ansible account on the two managed nodes. So Ansible 1 and Ansible 2 will also need to have that user account by the name of Ansible, and it needs to be a sudo account. And that's how you set up the control node.